最初のセッションに移らせていただきます。インドの二大潮流、14億人市場の大消費時代と IT 人材の宝庫が作り出す AI 市場のリアルに迫るでございます。急拡大するインド中間層が牽引する大消費時代が本格到来しております。クイックコマースの爆発的な普及、健康志向の高まり、プレミアム商品への関心など、従来とは全く異なる消費行動が次々と生まれています。本セッションにご登壇いただきますのは、インド最大の中古スマホ売買プラットフォームキャシファイ共同創業者のマンディープ・マノーチャ様、D2C ブランドディンディ共同創業者のサマエッシュ・カンナ様、SaaS AI 企業フォーミ共同創業者のアニルドゥ・アルン様、そして CK チョン様です。モデレーターは SGgrow ディレクターの真下弘和様です。どうぞよろしくお願いいたします。Now let's move to our first session. India's two major currents, the reality of the mass consumption era of a 1.4 billion market and air market created by IT talent pool. Our speakers are Mr. Samayesh Khanna, co-founder of D2C brand Bindi, and Mandeep Manocha, co-founder of Cashify, and Mr. Anirudh, co-founder of SaaS AI company Formi, and Mr. CK John, and Mr. Hiro Mashita, director of SGgrow, will moderate this session. よろしくお願いします。
どうもありがとうございます。Thank you very much. これからインドセッションですが、簡単に説明をたまに日本語でさせていただきたいと思うんですが、当然英語分かるよっていう方もいらっしゃると思うんですが、なかなか専門用語とか、もしくは背景とかも若干補足させていただいた方がですね、理解が高まる可能性があるということで、ちょっと今日は同時通訳機能を入れる手配が間に合わなかったんですが、たまに訳を入れさせていただきたいと思います。So now, let's start this session. This is regarding the Indian market. So I think each person has a specific view, but maybe first please do some introduction and what you read about the background, and later on I'm going to do the specific question. それとインドのファウンダーの方3人いらっしゃるんですけど、お一人シンガポールから、インドもよく見ていらっしゃる新計算の方に来ていただいてますので、違った角度の取り上げています。そしたらこちらから一人ずつ自己紹介していただきたいと思いますので、そう前置きになっている。
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Mandeep. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Cashify. We are one of the largest e-commerce companies in India. E-commerce is we buy used electronics from people, repair them, refurbish them, and we sell them back to consumers. Essentially, think of it as India is a very large smartphone market. About 150 million new smartphones are sold every year. And people use these phones or laptops for 3 years and then they put them in their drawers. So I'm sure most of you will have some phone lying in your homes. So our intent is, can we bring those phones out, repair them, and make them available to people who want to buy an iPhone, but they don't have the money. So our largest selling product today is an iPhone 12 or iPhone 13, which is the latest -2 or -3. In terms of numbers, we do $250 million worth of business every year. We're present across the country. We have 2,600 employees. Mashita was one of our first supporters. He's always been happy.
クイックでの説明させて、インド最大のですね、家電の再生利用の、プラットフォームの開発さんなんですが、インドですとほとんど皆さんiPhone なんか使わないんじゃないかっていう印象の方多いんですけども、実はiPhone12、13、14あたりでですね、再生しながら、使っている方結構多いので、台数としては、パーセントは少ないんですけども、台数としてはiPhone の利用を超えていますが、年間で大体250ミリオンですので、約400億円ぐらいの売り上げを上げ、なんとですね、皆さん日本の人口1億ちょっとですよね。インドではなんと1億5000万人の マートフォンが、取引されています。ものすごい規模です。そういう意味では彼らはですね、インドのその中古のスマートフォンマーケット、こちらをですね再生して、半ば半分メーカーみたいな形で大規模に成長してますが、一応2027年、彼言ってませんでしたけど、一応インドでの株式公開を、予定しておりまして、非常に大急成長の会社だと思います。
Yeah, hi, I'm CK based in Singapore. I take the growth investment arm of InteGrow. InteGrow is the largest PE buyout fund based in Tokyo. For example, if you think of companies like SkyMart or India, we have actually bought those companies. So this is the game, but we are also this year, starting this year, I'm in charge of actually investing in minority positions, so mid to late stage investments in overseas companies that are interested to make an entry into Japan, where we actually extend our health operation to make those companies successful in Japan.
CK さんはシンガポールベースの最大級のプライベートエクイティのファンドをマネジメントされてまして、主にレッドステージの投資、もしくはバイオの方にいらっしゃるんですけども、今日来ていただいたのはですね、やっぱ CK さん、今まで本当に僕はびっくりするぐらいインドとアフリカの投資を見てらっしゃって、その辺の、思ってらっしゃることをインドの住んでらっしゃる、もしくはアフリカに住んでいらっしゃる方じゃない、シンガポールのベースの方にちょっとご意見いただきたいと思いました。
Hello, my name is Anirudh and I'm the CEO and co-founder of a company called Agentic Universe. We are a horizontal AI platform where large enterprises come onto our platform and launch outcome-specific or outcome-first agents. That basically means AI agents that can think, act, and understand everything almost like a human being. Large enterprises come onto our platform and automate functions end to end. So in terms of logos, we've got a subsidiary of Reliance, the largest bus operator, the largest edtech platform that currently uses us to be able to automate sales and supports using AI agents altogether. We increase efficiency. Our agents sound as human-like as they possibly could and also feel human-like. As a matter of fact, we call our agents empathy so that our customers really understand that our agents can also understand and demonstrate empathy. In terms of business, we are on track to be able to do $11 million this year. We closed our current quarter on a very, very strong note. Here in Japan, to be able to raise our Series A. Very nice to be here and thank you, Hiro-san, to be able to,
Thank you so much. 彼らのAI、特にですね、エージェント系ですね、大企業さんが、お客様と会話するときに、AI エージェントですね、を皆さん対応しようということで、なかなかいいエージェント、AI の機能のついたエージェントを作るの大変なんですけど、結構大手さんが彼らのところのサービスを気に入って、お客様対応での AI を使ってやってるんですけども、なんと彼もですね、なんと学生になってから卒業、学生の時からも起業してというですね、インドもAI を起業する方々のスタートする時の年齢が本当に学生なんだという人が多くて、この間はメタの方でも韓国人28歳の方を何兆円規模でバイアウトすると発表したと思いますけども、AI の技術がやっぱり若い力のところが出てくることが多く、そこの方々が、アプリケーション AI 等々ですね、活躍することで収益を上げて、成長していくというのをダイナミックに使っていただけるだろうということで参加いただいてますが、後でピッチもしますので、もう AI の会社ですから早いですね、あっという間にシーズンのファンディングまで今行こうとしているので、できれば日本の会社さん、日本の投資家の方々からも出資を受けたいと思っていますと。なぜなら彼の会社のですね、サービスが大企業のクライアントの方がたくさんいらっしゃって、投資家の方とのシナジー、大企業さんがなんと企
Hi, my name is Samayesh. I'm also from India. So, like most of you saw, we're a large growing country and a larger growing coffee ecosystem and an even larger startup ecosystem. So, we've in our own way been powering this growth for the Indian startup ecosystem, keeping them awake, building offline and online communities around coffee. Last year, I think Hiro-san mentioned that India is one of the youngest populations in the world today, with around 850 million Gen Zs and millennials, around 370 million millennials, which actually can spend money out there. With a really high discretionary spend, we're moving from being a tea drinking nation to being a coffee drinking nation, and present at 2,000 plus touch points with our FMCG products and 11 retail touch points. I think we're fast growing into being one of the leading coffee operators in our country.
Thank you so much. BD はコーヒーなんですけども、皆さん日本の方でスターバックスが来てからもうよくコーヒーショップに行くようになったっていう方がすごく多いと思います。そしてはっと見てみればベトナムコーヒーとかエクセシオとか日本にもコーヒー産業がめちゃくちゃ伸びてますと。でもよく考えたら日本はお茶文化でした。皆さんお手元に京都のお茶を出してると思いますけど、お茶文化でしたと。やはりスターバックスが日本に来てから、コーヒーの産業がいかに伸びたかというのは経験にしたと思いますが、ご多分にもらずスターバックスは、インドも進出して、なんと若い世代 Z 世代の方、さっき8000億ドルが消費されると申し上げましたけど、その人たちがですねスタバに行くんです。でも皆さん信じられないと思いますが、スタバでコーヒー1杯いくらだと思います？日本円に換算すると1200円ですよ。皆さんスタバって普通500円ぐらいじゃないですか、コーヒー。それでもインドの Z 世代の方は飲むんです。そして、お金がないなと、でもコーヒー飲みたいという若手がすごく多くなってきました。彼のところはですね、インスタントコーヒーの e コマース、そしてさっきのクイックコマース、そして、店舗も、どんどん出店。なんと彼の店舗、Your shop is quite a similar image of this one。こういう階段状のですね、中の机にして非常に効率的にいろんな方に座っていただいて、そしてなんとブレイキングポイントが1 year、right？ 1年ぐらいでですね、その出店コストを全部賄ってしまうぐらい利益率がいい事業、どっかで思い出しませんか？日本のだけじゃなくて今度中国を思い出してください。スタバ入りましたね。そして何百というコーヒーショップが生まれ、そして、コンソリデーションいろんな成長や失敗を繰り返し、なんとラッキーコーヒーという中国の会社が強大な IP をしました。そういうことが今インドで今起こっています。皆さんインドっていうとチャイ文化だってご存知ですか？皆さんマサーティー飲んで一生懸命お茶の文化だったんですけど、最近若手世代はコーヒー飲みます。ということで、日本人の方もですね、非常にコーヒーの文化が最近この5年間過去を考えてみると非常に進化が遂げたなと思っていただく方はですね、ぜひ彼と後で話していただいて、インドの今コーヒーのブームを彼らは一生懸命作っていくと、そこに乗っていく大成長企業のポテンシャルを持っている企業としてですね来てくれましたので、ぜひご興味のある方は話していただきます。彼もインドの大消費時代に向けての話をちょっと後でしていただきたいと思います。Okay, thank you so much for great good summary of the company and yourself. So my question is Cashify, Mandeep first. You're dealing with a lot of consumers, right? And then we're expecting a big dynamic consumption era in India, and then smartphone usage is one of the important actions. And at the same time, there's a bunch of the AI tools and stuff. So do you plan to use some AI to make your operation more efficiently or something like that? So one dimension is the consumption market. What do you think? What do you expect? The second question is any AI do you planning to use to make your operation more efficient? These two main questions to you.
Okay, thanks. I think Samayesh mentioned that 350 million millennials in the country. I want to add one more layer. We are 1.4 billion people in the country, but the number of people who use a smartphone is about 600 to 600 million. There's about another 500, 600 million people who use a feature phone, the button phone, which I think many of you may not even have experienced in your life. But that's a large market which is already there. What that gives us is a massive opportunity where these 500 to 600 million people who are on the button phone to move to a smartphone. And given that the GDP per capita in our country is $2,000, nobody can afford expensive new smartphone. So there's a large population who will make a transition from the feature phone to smartphone. That's a big consumption that we are looking forward to in our industry. The second is, there is a massive premiumization trend in the country. When I say premiumization, millennials, Gen Zs, they want to spend more, they want to buy more expensive stuff, they want to associate themselves with brands. Everybody we speak to, and we operate 200 stores of our own, every customer in the age bracket of 18 to 30 wants only an iPhone. That's all they want. But if you ask them their incomes, they earn $400, $500 a month. So how would they afford a new iPhone? They can't. And in our industry, that's what we're making possible. That you can buy, say, an iPhone 11 at, say, a $200 price point with 6-month EMI program, monthly installment. So there is a massive premiumization trend in the country, and I think we are seeing this not just in smartphones, but say coffee. People used to buy sub $1 coffee. Now people are spending $5, $6, $7 on their coffee. The same trend is happening in mattresses. The same trend is happening in clothing. So there's a massive consumption economy which is out there. It is ready to be unlocked. A huge opportunity for global companies to come in India, set up, and Indian companies to grow. So that's on the consumption and the market. The second point, are we using AI? Well, our business does not require a lot of AI. We do use, agents to reduce our customer support costs, to automate workflows. But major use case for us is on computer vision side, because when we buy a used smartphone, we have to test it. We have to physically evaluate it. That's where we are using a lot of automation of taking pictures, sending them to a computer vision algo, and then determining whether your used phone has scratches, does it have dents, and how should I value that from the pricing perspective.
Super.
Long answer.
Thank you so much for such a great insight. すごくインドになかなかこういう方々と話さないとわからない情報をたくさん言ってくれたんですけども、そうですね、まだスマートフォンがですね、人口が14億人、14億6000万人ぐらいですかね、半分もいないんですよね。で、スマートフォンで皆さんどんどんデリバリー頼んだりとかするんですけども、今どんどんこのフィーチャーフォン、昔のガラケーというのがどんどんスマホに変わったので、ますます消費加速するでしょうと。特にコマースでですね。そしてプレミアム化って言いまして、大体皆さん今まで使ってたよりはいいものを使うようになる。特に若い世代はですね、もうほぼ聞くと全員がiPhone が欲しい。でも統計値だけ皆さん日本から見たインドの統計値を見ると、いわゆる Android 端末が 97% ぐらいですかね、iPhone の比率が低く見えちゃうんですが、そういう統計値に騙されないで、実際の生の Z 世代の声を聞くと、みんな iPhone 欲しい。で、別に iPhone の16とかが高すぎるんですけど、13、14、しっかりと使えるように買うんですね。そういう意味では少しでもプレミアムの高そうなものを買っていくと、コーヒーも今までだったら1ドルしか払わなかったけど5ドル払いますと。これが今最近のトレンドです。ですからインドの大消費時代っていうのは、分量、量プラスプレミアム質というのが掛け算でくるので、皆さん消費系のビジネスやっていう方、消費系の投資に興味ある方、ぜひ話していただきたいと思います。加えてAI のところは彼のビジネスの特性としてそんなに使うわけじゃないんですが、やっぱカスタマー系のところですね、さっき彼のエージェントのところを使わせていただいたりとか、部分的には、AI を活用してやっているという感じでございます。So I think in addition to insights by 20, so you are dealing with the Z generation people directly. So what do you observe their momentum and how do you expand your business in India? And then what at the same time, when we talked before, you learn a lot from Japan, right? So what element did you learn a lot from Japan? Can you explain us? Also, maybe you can describe a little bit about the trend of the quick commerce and how you utilize quick commerce.
So I think I'm going to take the last question first because it's a very interesting story. Japan has a very interesting part in our story as a coffee company. In fact, Rahul, my co-founder, is sitting right there. And the first trip back that actually set mainly in motion came from Japan. And we picked those trip bags, and a consumption habit that we learned from here was trip bags and the convenience of using freshly brewed coffee at home without having to use any equipment, expensive equipment to brew freshly brewed coffee. Was something that we learned from Japan. Our vendors for the material, paper, equipment continue to be Japanese, so we're really thankful to the part that Japan has played in our role as a coffee company in India. I'll also address the second part of the question. I think taking cue out of what Mandeep said, consumption trends have definitely changed. We are, as a country, going into a premiumization curve, and that is absolutely undeniable. It's there for everybody to see. India is premiumizing, and it's premiumizing fast. But the other half of India and the other reality of India is that we are still a developing country with a lower GDP income. So despite premiumizing, we are premiumizing at a budget. So these 150, 200 million people who are spending money today still lead India's discretionary spend. So we are spending a lot of money, but this private placement and discretionary spend is still smaller than most global countries. So finding the balance between premiumization and giving India what we internally refer to as a premium basic is a very important part of any brand's journey. So consumerism is going to be on the up, but finding that balance is also going to be really important. At Bindi, we've got, when we look at coffee and when we look at our stores, everything has been Gen Z and millennial forward, because we understand that these are going to be the people consuming the brand over the next 5, 10, 20 years. Today, there is a wallet share that we can acquire from them in terms of value and volume. So very interestingly, I've broken the menu down into value and volume, where your everyday classics in your coffees are far more affordable in comparison to going to any other international coffee chain which comes to India, spends a lot more money on the store, and then serves coffee to you at a much larger premium. So we make it very accessible for these Indians for whom we are building, for these millennials and Gen Zs for whom we are building, because more than anything else, I think India is in love with those millennials and Gen Zs we built for. So that answers your question, how we've been approaching this market. With our marketing strategy, we've been very Gen Z and millennial forward. With our beverages, we haven't, we've seen older audiences walk out at times, but we've also understood that the audience that we built for, the audience that we cater to, is still going to be the millennials and Gen Zs. They are the audience of the future, and we are a brand for the future. The third question that Hiro-san also mentioned was quick commerce and how quick commerce is changing consumption in India today. It's something that none of us thought about 10 years back. It's a $5 billion opportunity, most as of today, growing into an $18-20 billion opportunity over the next 5 to 8 years. So your discretionary spend is actually moving from your retail stores to quick commerce today. You get things at the snap of a button, at the click of a button on your phone in 10 minutes, in your office, at home, wherever you are. So that's changing consumer behavior. Impulse is driving how India is consuming today, and it's something that we've also caught on with. That said, quick commerce is changing it fast, but 75 to 85% of everyday retail still happens via Kirana stores. I don't think that's about to change. But coffee is also a discretionary spend, hence if we look foolish for us to ignore quick commerce and the audience that we cater to is still shopping on Cricket. So a large part of those that's point offline to come in from quick commerce. In fact, I think 750 to 800 stores that come in via quick commerce, and then we're present at a lot of other touch points. I'll save the beauty bit for later, but we'll come back to India and how it's changing and evolving.
Thank you so much. ちょっと全部を予約しないので、ポイントはもう本当にZ 世代に訴求できるようなSNS とか、そういうソーシャルも十分活用し、クイックコマースがもう盛んであればクイックコマースも活用し、そして創業の時ですね、日本からものすごく学びましたと。今彼らがインスタントで使っている、材料なんかも全部日本から輸入して、日本のコーヒーのメーカーさんのアイデアを一生懸命使わせてない輸入してですね、そんなことで非常に日本から学ぶことです。ちなみに彼の店舗行くと抹茶ラテがものすごい出てきまして、抹茶ブームなんですよ、インドで。中国もそうですけど、本当にZ 世代の方々が好むような形のマーケティングや店舗設計、商品構成をやっています。Okay, now two questions. So AI, right? So I think you described a lot about your business itself, but everybody maybe show interest about the AI, what's going on in AI in India. So can you be kind of representative to describe what's going on in AI in India, what AI? And then your background is you used to be the student, right? But you've seen a lot of AI students and how passionate and how they behave AI and engineering, whatever. Right? So can you describe AI trend in India and also what's going on in the school, the campus, AI students?
For sure. Largely the way we view trends in terms of what's happening in AI is that there have been 4 systems of technology that has come out. First was system of records, which is Salesforce and Zohos of the world. Then was system of engagement, Twilios, Plevios, WhatsApps of the world. Then we had a layer on top of that, which is system of automation. And we are in the 4th era right now, which is system of intelligence. Largely, the trend in AI today is while generative AI has definitely unlocked a lot of value, it has got a lot of people speaking and using because it made such a valuable piece of technology consumable. The biggest problem that enterprises have today is they are waiting it out and they're letting the dust settle, largely because they do not have a complete idea in terms of which process or which part of the overall value chain could we really automate, largely because AI is still hallucinating, AI is still misleading, and AI doesn't work in a lot of situations. So in terms of trends, while a lot of people are speaking about it and investing, the common notion in the industry as we speak today is projects are stuck and we are not going live with our AI product. In terms of trends, again, I believe generative AI is a very big part of what AI industry altogether is. But something that Mandeep sir mentioned in terms of customer vision and the entire workflow automation, if we really view that, that is disruption happening in all 3 layers of technology, all the way from record keeping, how do you store images, how do you label images, to how do you engage with customers, to how you automate the entire workflow. So reimagining the stack is very important, which we are just getting started. And to the second question, I believe I got into MIT, Manipal, with the intention to be able to recreate the social network or the job story, because that's how I grew up. I grew up watching Shark Tank US. I had a Mark Cuban poster in my room. So it was my dream to be able to get into college and recreate that entire story, which I did. 3 of my co-founders are from the very same college, so we all dropped out to be able to build a dream. And it's been 3 years, and I think we are doing very well for ourselves. Back home, in terms of AI, every student or every engineer in one way, we are a factory of engineers, right? We've moved from development to AI. Everybody wants to learn prompt engineering. Everybody wants to understand what causal reasoning is. That's the next big thing. how do you get AI to be able to reason without any instruction to achieve full autonomy. While while we go ahead and do that, I think there have been a lot of initiatives, back in my college as well, where we were told to work on very specific AI projects. In Manipal, we had this project called as Manas, where it was a self-driving automation car, and we took part in a lot of AI competition, which I was a part of. So I believe that AI is a very core element of our curriculum right now, and I believe a lot of people are definitely going to go about and learn it. So yeah.
Thank you so much. やっぱりですね、まだ AI とはっていうのを気づきがなかなか難しいっていう方も結構多い中で、やっぱり業務改善に使おうという人にも増えています。これに対して今年来年よく見ていくとですね、多分もっと広がっていくと思います。学生も大学がですね、もう本当にたくさんの AI のクラスたくさん作ってるんですよね。日本の大学の多分何十倍もスピーディーに皆さん勉強していると思います。ここからのインド楽しみだと思います。So, CK, can you explain how do you see India opportunity and Africa opportunity from outside the local people?
Yeah. So I'll be the representative of the only person here who's not from India, but from Singapore instead. So I give some of my views. Singapore is not part of India, but a lot of Indians claim that it is part of India actually. In fact, some of my Indian friends tell me that Singapore is the best city in India. So that's without much sort of stretch of imagination. So I'm a fund manager but based in Singapore, and I had the opportunity to look at all the different deals from China, from US, India, Southeast Asia, obviously. And I really believe that the whole excitement about India is justified, right? So 1.4 billion people, but and a very deep engineering talent pool. If you think about it, there's one more element which is often not stated, I think, which is the Indian diaspora. Diaspora means that ethnically Indian but living in other countries. So that forms a very strong network. So whether it's, for example, in Africa, you have a very strong Indian diaspora. In Southeast Asia, and some people you may not know if you check, even the elected president of Singapore is from India actually. So there's a very strong connection. So which means that whether it's investment going to India or if you invest in an Indian company, the possibility or the ease of going into another country to expand is a lot easier for them. Right? For example, you look at Southeast Asian deals as well. For the same kind of company, it's much easier for India to come up to Southeast Asia, buy the company, or expand in Southeast Asia. But the reverse is a bit more difficult, but still possible. But if you think of that from the point of Japan, for a Japanese equivalent, you pick something like Smart HR. All the money to expand into India is almost next to, it's very difficult, I'm not saying that it's not easy. Because to find the talent, to find the connection, to find the right Japanese talent or Japanese related talent in India is going to be a bit challenging to say this. But think of the reverse. For some Indian company to come to Japan, there are a lot of Indians working in Japan, so that makes it a lot easier. The other one I think we just alluded to is the deep talent pool. If you think last year, the earth-shaking sort of news in AI was DeepSeek, right? Not so much that they came out with the model, but they took a picture of the DeepSeek team. It is about 35 guys. 20 guys has a young, below 35 years old with PhDs in AI. We tried to assemble that team in Japan. I think it's next to impossible. You'll be lucky if you get 2 guys with PhD in AI coming from the University of Tokyo. But in China it's possible, and they assemble that at a very low cost. The only other country that I can think of cost effectively to assemble such a team to come up with something unique would be India. Right? These are the 2 huge countries. So in short, I think there's a lot of potential, and for Japan companies, I think it makes a lot of sense. engage in India, and if you find engaging directly in India is a bit too difficult, you can come through Singapore as well.
いろいろメッセージがあったので、ちょっとたくさん本当いろんなメッセージだったのでちょっと割愛させていただいて、we kind of overtime. So just one word lastly. あと皆さんですね、ちょっとこのイベントの運営上ですね、ちょっと休憩時間設けないんですが、のでこういうやり方させてください。このセッションの後、後ろのですね部屋があります。そちらに登壇者行ってもらいますので、もしこの人とか話したいという方がいたらちょっとあちらでも活用いただいて、彼らのずっと最後までいますので、下のアワーバーに行っていただく時までいますので、どうしてもという方は後ろでお待ちください。そういう運営しましょう。So after finishing this session, we will go back and maybe do some networking if some people want. Okay. But after this entire event, 6 o'clock, downstairs, however, we can do champagne and alcohol. The last one message to the audience here. Message to Japan. Maybe Shiki-san, maybe you describe one interesting area and one interesting industry as an expert on the private equity investment. What in India and or Africa. And then Mandeep, message to the
Mandeep, thank you so much. We've been largely inspired by by the fact what we've been building in India. And secondly, obviously, we've spoken a lot about India. That said, it would be impossible for you to witness India without actually being there. So please come in, drop in. We are known to welcome people really well. So please come in. We'll be all happy to welcome you all in India at any point in time. Our hospitality is something that we are known for, so please do drop in, and you can find either of us here, get our numbers, whenever you're coming in, we'll be happy to host you in India.
ぜひ立ち寄ってください。ビンリのショップにということで、はい。
I think over the last 25, 30 years, Indians have really been fighting it out, be it in the business world, be it in the corporate world, to be at the forefront. And I truly believe that India's moment is here and this is our decade. It's a great opportunity for any country to be able to partner with us, largely because one, we Indians, we've got hustle that I believe nobody else has. We can think on our feet like nobody else can. We call it Jugadu back home. So we are all very Jugadu people. And I believe that there is great potential for the Japanese culture and Japanese people to be able to come into our country, because there is no better opportunity than India today.
インド皆さん来てくださいと。インド以外にそんなに大きなオポチュニティそんなないと思いますというふうにそういう強調されてました。
Yeah, I think similarly, please. I think the easiest way to understand India is just make a trip. I think if you have not already, I think that will reset your mindset. So.
Okay, I will just ask the question. How many of you have an old smartphone or a laptop lying in your house? Just show of hands. Just rise and shine. How many of you have old electronics in your house that you don't use? Right? My simple message to you is, please sell it. That is not, even if not to me, these are valuable resources of our Mother Earth. If you sell them, they will go out, get repaired, life will get extended, and maybe you will avoid a new phone to be manufactured or a new laptop to be manufactured. So please do a good deed. There are many companies in Japan who buy used electronics like Bookoff, Hitochu, Belong. Please go to them and sell your old phone and laptop. That's my only message. Thank you.
さすがですね。ということで、すみません、ちょっと長引いてしまいましたが、これにてインドセッションをやったと思います。クエスチョンはちょっと結構聞きたかったんですけども、ちょっと一個だけ聞いても、タイムキーパー何かどうしてもこれだけ聞きたいってのありますか？大丈夫ですか？後でもし交流いただいてもいいと思います。only one question.
How can we be a partner with you guys?
How can she be part of
Any
it?
specific person?
No, I don't know. I only heard that India is a good opportunity. We're looking for a partner there, so I just came in. So.
Oh, I see. Maybe later on, please exchange business card or maybe contact WhatsApp, right?
Yeah, you take their number, come visit India.
And then visit them.
Show you around.
Yeah, I think they'll welcome me anyway.
Yeah, he'll take you to great cafes, weekly cafe, great coffee.
Okay, sounds great. Thank you so much. Thank you. Nice. That's a nice question. Thank you so much. Okay, thank you so much, everybody. 皆さんありがとうございました。
皆さんありがとうございました。Thank you for the excellent session. インドの加速する大消費時代、そして AI の革新についてお聞かせいただきました。ありがとうございました。